Well, hello there, my fellow rushers. How are you doing today? King Rexy here. And today we're gonna be doing something that I haven't done in quite a long time, at least on a video. We're gonna be doing a challenge for today. And we have to answer a pretty simple question. Can you beat the entire main campaign in Kingdom Hearts Vengeance on impossible mode with only the Shaolin Temple and the new dragon, which I'm not even gonna bother to pronounce his name because it's pretty complex, so I'm just gonna call him the Storm Dragon. And yeah, the only reason why I'm doing it is because I kinda wanna try them out. I haven't already given the new tower a fair review, and I never really tried the dragon, even though he is level 10, as you can see right here. When I started the challenge, I haven't even touched him, so I didn't really know what to expect, so it was quite fun. So yeah, before we begin, let's just recap the rules real quick. Rule number 1, anything besides the Shaolin Temple and the Storm Dragon is prohibited. We can't use anything else. Rule number 2, we're beating everything on impossible mode, no lives lost, no questions asked. And for the last rule, we're gonna be resetting the upgrades. We're gonna be starting from scratch and we're gonna be upgrading them as we progress further. And yeah, it's pretty simple, right? Well, we'll see if the challenge is gonna be simple. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright then. Well, starting off with the first level, what do we have here? Something interesting? Something challenging? Something exciting? Absolutely not. I mean, look at that. No issues whatsoever. Surprising, am I right? Also, yeah, here I'm not really sure what happened. For some reason, it shows up how I upgraded how I spared my upgrade points for a different level. I'm not really sure why. I'm not sure what happened. All right, mistakes happen. So to give you an idea as to what I upgraded, well, you're gonna see in a minute. After we finish this easy level, there you go. These are the upgrades that I got originally. I'm not sure why this was the way it was. Honestly, it's whatever. So, level 3, what do we have here? Pretty much the same thing. Nothing really has been changing. Sure, we're getting flying enemies, but the funny thing is that the Shaolin Tower can hit flying enemies, so they don't really matter. We can just permanently stun them in place. It's hilarious. Well, not really perma-stun, but close enough to a perma-stun to the point where it seems like they're making barely any progress, if any at all. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I really like the idea of this tower, man. Ever since this challenge, this tower is really growing on me. I may start using it more often because of how good it is. I mean, sure, it starts off as being pretty weak in the up to tier 3. It doesn't seem like it's doing anything other than just stalling a couple enemies, but once you get it up to tier 4, man, oh, the game changes. I would say this tower has one of everything. It can hit multiple people at once. It has stuns. Well, yeah, even though it's a short stun, it's still a stun nonetheless. It has the Dragon Warrior, which is a pretty beefy unit. I mean, sure, he is a chunk wannabe, but come on. He's pretty good nonetheless. He has 520 health, 40 to 60 damage, decent attack speed, and yeah, he's just good enough. The only thing is that you can get one of them at a time. Imagine if you could get multiples though. So yeah, besides that, here we have a little bit of a trouble. As you can see, these guys, the Mecha Dwarfs, are taking a short eternity. I mean, sure, they're barely making any progression, but it's hilarious how long they take, because the tower deals entirely physical damage. The only type of magic damage that we have comes from the Storm Dragon, or Dianyun, whatever his name is. I can't pronounce it, man. I can't pronounce it for the sake of my life, so we're just gonna call him the Storm Dragon. So, to any people from China, apologies, I can't pronounce this guy's name. And yeah, as you can see, these guys are getting stunned forever. And we're just waiting and waiting and waiting until the last one dies eventually. In 3, 2, and 1. There you go. Finally, that took short eternity, man. Goddamn. But yeah, back to the point. The tower itself is really good. I really like the line of abundance though. I would say that's pretty strong. I mean, being able to generate 10% extra gold just by killing enemies near its radius is pretty strong on itself. But the thing is that it's stackable, so if you have multiple enemies, if you have like an enemy who dies in range of both of 2 Shaolin Temple towers with line of abundance, you get 20% extra gold instead of 10. So in choke points like this, you can get like up to 30% extra gold, which is ridiculous. Also here we almost leaked a life due to laziness, but it's whatever. We didn't leak a life. And yeah, we're gonna be placing these Dragon Scepters, and we're gonna be obliterating Bulgur. The Golden King, huh? Well, he seems to be melting like gold, right? Yeah, he's melting. He's gonna be turned into a molten pile of gold in a minute. We're slowly but surely chopping through his health bar. Even though our dragon died, it doesn't matter, he's still dead anyway. And G to the G. First area of the game completed. Nothing too difficult so far. Moving on to this area, so far so good. Nothing really too difficult. We don't have like super heavy armored enemies. The wolves are pretty fast though, but we can just stun them. It's pretty good. And yeah, that's one of the good things. One of the things that I discovered about this tower. It can cancel abilities. So let's say we have a high sorcerer who tries to polymorph someone. If he's in range of the Shaolin temple and the tower is not being overwhelmed, you can just stun him and prevent him from using this ability. Which is ridiculous because this tower doesn't have like a super slow attack rate like the melting furnace, where it attacks like once every 3 seconds, which is like a short eternity for this game. But here it attacks like every 1.5 seconds or so, which is more than enough to keep up enemies stunned. And it also works against Ice Witches, the Knack Warbears, Silver Druids, and countless and more enemies, like the Valkyrie. It's a really good tower, and I didn't even realize that when I made the review, so I may give it some additional points, because this tower is looking stronger and stronger every time I play it on this challenge, and it really starts to grow on me. Now for the dragon, I don't know, he is a bit iffy. I kinda like him, but I also hate him at the same time. Also, look at how many dragon staffs we were able to stack up there. I think we have like 6 or 7, which is hilarious. I mean, we don't use them, but still, it's funny to see. Anyway, so the dragon. Well, he has a pretty interesting mechanics. He doesn't really attack normally. He can attack while being moved, which is pretty interesting. And he can attack all the way up to 6 enemies. His attacks do magic damage and they also stun people, just like the Orc Shaman's basic attacks, which is pretty good. His attack damage is pretty meh, like 21 to 59 or something like that. Maybe 21 to 49 actually, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's somewhere around there. And I believe it's magic damage. It could be true damage, but I'm pretty sure it is magic damage, because against enemies that have magic resistance, he seems to be doing less. Now, I'm not a professional, I haven't really played this dragon enough to know everything about him, but I'm pretty sure he deals magic damage with his basic attacks. And if I'm wrong, well, Baduke, you can always correct me in the comments if you're watching this. So, yeah, the other abilities are fine, I would say. His first ability is pretty nice. His second one is basically the one that gives them the ability to hit up 6 enemies. His the rain thing that he does, the golden rain every once in a while, it's a pretty nice heal. It's not like crazy heal like Junpei, but it's still good enough to the point where you can kind of keep up a choke point healthy for quite a while with him. It's pretty nice. The gigantic wave, it's ridiculous, I would say. Being able to spread into so many directions and stun infinite enemies for being able to stun infinite amount of enemies for 4 seconds is pretty insane, I would say. Like, that's so much CC on so many enemies. I don't think it's fair. It's pretty strong. Now, granted, his ultimate is pretty good as well. Basically, those are the little staffs that you can summon. They last for a very long time. I think they can last all the way up to like 3 to 4 waves or something like that. They last for a very long time. And they have limited amount of projectiles that do magic damage, I believe. And yeah, they're pretty strong. I mean, you can stack all the way up to like 7, maybe even 8 if you're like fast enough at one point and just nuke anything that comes close to them. It's pretty good. And it's also one of the very few things that allows us to do magic damage, hence why this challenge is kinda possible, because armored enemies, if we don't have any sort of magic damage or / true damage, we will be struggling way more than we are now. But thankfully, the dragon deals magic damage. And yeah, now there's something that I want to address. Even though the mechanic of being able to attack while on the move is unique for Kingdom Rush, it's not like something we haven't seen before. In Iron Marines, which, let's be honest, most of you probably don't remember this game besides me and the small amount of people that still watch my series. Props to them for that. Basically, there were 3 other champions that had the same gimmick. Those champions were Blue Dragon, Mark X, and Roy. They were also able to attack while being moved, which is, you know, interesting. And it was introduced first in Iron Marines, but in Kingdom Rush we never really had this mechanic where, you know, a champion can attack while being moved. We never really had that. So, yeah, this dragon is pretty much the first hero in Kingdom Rush ever that can attack while on the move, which is good, but I would say his slow movement speed is kinda making it so that you don't really want to move him. You want to just keep him at a choke point, let him lightning strike people to death, and stun them and do his own thing. So yeah, you don't really move him that much. I would say if he was more mobile, that would be way more useful, because Roy, Blue Dragon, Mark X, all of them were pretty fast, and so you were encouraged to move them. Well, because they can attack well on the move. And even Roy could attack. I believe Roy could attack faster if you were moving him. So the game was literally inspiring you to micro him in order to increase your DPS, which is a pretty cool idea. But for this dragon, I don't find him to be that good. Plus, I didn't mention his passive, but his passive is just awful. And when I say awful, I mean awful. You generate 1 extra gold. 1 extra gold for every enemy that dies near him. That's just a lazy design. Very lazy design, like, literally 1 gold. What's 1 gold gonna make a difference for? Like, sure, if you kill 100 enemies, you get 100 gold, but come on. Come on now. What are you gonna buy for 100 gold? Maybe like a tier 1 tower. Like, it's just a bad design. That's what I'm gonna say. The passive is awful. I would say the Storm Dragon is kind of like Birisat in terms of like issues. He has pretty strong ultimate and one ability in his kit that's pretty good, which I think is the stun. I would say the stun is really good. That giant tidal wave is ridiculous. But the rest of his kit is kind of meh. It's a little bit of a lackluster. You know, with Birisat, he had an insane ultimate, being able to do 180 true damage to everything on the screen while also having an insta-kill in his kit. But the rest of his abilities and passive were pretty bad. And yeah, speaking of Birisat's passive, I'm not sure how many of you know this, but the way Birisat generates gold is pretty pathetic. He only generates gold for each enemy that he kills in his range. So, if he doesn't get the finishing blow, if a tower gets it, a reinforcement or a soul impact or a note or something else, you don't get any extra gold. Yeah, that's pretty sad. Now, I used to think that anything that died near Birisat generated extra gold, similar to Captain Blackthorn's ability, where if an enemy dies near him, he generates like 40% extra gold. That's what I thought. But apparently, that wasn't the case. Thanks to a very smart doggo on the internet, I was able to learn that this wasn't the case at all. Props to Vuduk for telling me this, because that was very helpful information. I mean, sure, he told me that like a very long time ago, but still. And yeah, where are we on the challenge? I trailed off for a little bit. Oh, we're already at the second to last level. Yeah, we're kind of rushing through it, as you can see. Not really too many issues through this challenge. Sure, a couple of levels were a little bit hard, and sometimes we got an enemy kind of close to the exit, but we're still doing really good. We're still doing pretty good so far. I think I had to restart maybe like 1 or 2 levels on the first start. Yeah, I think I had to restart on what was this level called? Dragon's Boneyard, and maybe the level with Magus. Anyway, Gerald, boss fight. What do we have here? Nothing. He just melted. Wow. The Dragon Warrior is gonna hide your body because you're just disappointing, man. Like, you didn't even last for a second. Like, you last for a few seconds. What is that? You're supposed to be a boss. I mean, I used to think that he was a mini-boss, but apparently no, he is a boss. Even though he is pathetic, I mean, come on. If you can beat him with this tower, you can beat him with pretty much any tower. You can probably beat this guy on Impossible mode with Rotten Forest. So yeah, pretty disappointing boss fight. Let's see if the last boss fight is gonna be actually interesting or challenging. Guess we'll find out. So far so good, nothing too difficult here. I mean, sure, the sorcerers are taking like a short eternity as per usual because they have high armor, or well, not really high armor. I think they have medium armor, but still, they have armor, so they take longer to die. But thankfully, our staffs do magic damage, and we just kill them eventually. First part of the level completed, pretty easy. Now let's see what about the second part. All right. Here we're preparing the setup, we're getting all the Shaolin temples ready, we're getting Dragon Warriors for the stalling power, we're getting more monks so that way we can stun more people, and you know, that. And yeah, I would say it's really good though. I like this challenge. It's quite satisfying to play. It's really nice to just see every enemy on the map being constantly kicked and stunned. It's hilarious. And you also generate 10% extra gold, which is even better. And sometimes you may generate even more than that. Like in the choke point that we have right here where the Storm Dragon is, we can generate like 30% extra gold if someone dies in a specific spot. It's hilarious. But anyway, let's prepare for the last boss fight. Now it's blessed. We're gonna summon the Archdemon, and we're gonna be facing up against the Paragon, and we'll see how this is gonna go. Impossible mode Paragon, how hard are you? So far, he melted, although my dragon melted as well because I was lazy, but still. Okay, we're doing fine, we're doing fine. Oh, he died again. I guess Musketeers is to kill them. So yeah, as you can see, slowly but surely we're taking him down. We're not killing him as fast because, you know, we do mostly physical damage, but still. Here's the last Paragon. The argument is actually taking quite a beating there. I think he's not gonna survive. Like, look at that. Look at his health. Oh no. Are we gonna lose to the last level? Come on. Push it up. There you go. He survived with like 1,000 health. Wow, that was actually a little bit closer than I would expect it. Alright. The last level was a bit of a challenge, but yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. So, in the end, we have to answer the question. Can you beat Kingdom Rush Vengeance main campaign on impossible mode, no lives lost, with the Storm Dragon and the Shaolin Tower? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Yes, you can do it. It's not as difficult as you may think it is. Sure, it's not like super easy. Some of the levels are a little bit difficult and tricky in the early game or in the later parts of the game, but still, it's a pretty cool challenge, and it honestly helped me out to understand more how the tower works, and it gave me a little bit of a good idea of what to think of the new dragon. And in my opinion, I would say he deserves about a 7 out of 10. Nothing too crazy, nothing too much, but yeah, pretty good, right? Alright guys, well, with that out of the way, that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you for sticking around to the end. Subscribe if you want to see more of this content in the future, and while you're at it, drop a like on the video. It means a lot to me. And I will see you in the next video. Until it comes, that was King Rexy, over and out.